Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited that you are here today, and I've been so excited to record this episode, but so much has happened this week. I feel like this week has been just a little bit everywhere, besides just being a girl and having my emotions everywhere because of my cycle. It's just been a very interesting week, and so getting into this recording has been very interesting. I wasn't feeling well, pollen is in the air, all that good stuff. Reconnected with some old friends, disconnected with some friends, and it's just been it's just been a very interesting week, but I have been enjoying the sun. I don't know about y'all, but something about the sun just like coming out and consistently like having nice, pretty days, it's just a boost of happiness. It's a boost of joy. So that's what I've been up to this week. Also, this week I started doing some cute things. I started like recording these like 1-minute meditations, just because when I'm with my clients, we often do like 5-minute meditations, and they're so good. And I didn't realize how many people actually go about their days and lives without taking time to pause and do some meditating, do some like mindfulness, do some like connecting with their bodies. And, I read this book I remember in grad school called The Body Keeps the Score. Is it The Body Keeps the Score? I think it is. And it was so good. It was just talking about how we hold all our traumas and all our things like just all up in our bodies throughout the years and all that good stuff. So meditating and mindfulness and taking time in the morning, even to stretch, something as like stretching in the morning and being very intentional about doing that. It can make such a difference in your everyday. I'm so used to waking up, or we can be so used to just like getting up and going straight to our phones, and we're in everyone else's life before we even take a minute to breathe and be in our own lives and sit in our own lives and be in our own thoughts and our own reflections. So it's been so nice to not just go through the meditations and mindfulness with my clients, but actually record just like minute ones. So at first I was thinking like maybe I should do some like minute ones that's like you're doing while you're doing your makeup, just because when I'm doing my makeup, I like to watch vlogs, and I even watch vlogs. I just like kind of like let them play while I do my makeup. I love Sierra Renee. She used to be Sierra Eats Eggs. She's like one of my favorite vloggers. Shout out to you, girl, if you're listening. I love something about her voice and her storytelling. It is just top tier. She's funny, but super smart and also like creative. So I just love setting her down and just like doing my makeup. In all of that, I was thinking while I was doing my makeup, like it would be really cool if I had some kind of resource to share with you. For those of you ladies or guys, whoever, you take time to do your makeup, do your hair, get ready, brush your teeth, whatever. Just take a minute to just connect with your body and be in that space. So if you're interested in that, I would love to know in the comments, because I will be sharing that then. A girlfriend of mine wanted me to talk about this today specifically. She's like, clock that tea, girl. And we all have homegirls, right? And we have friends who do like who bring different things to our lives. Like I have 5 friends that I'm really like, they're just like my core solid, like pillars of friends. And one of them is Carrie. She's like my childhood best friend. And we just talk about all the things. We don't talk every day, but when we do talk, it's deep and we talk about it all. I have, my friend Shatilla, we met in grad school, and we, again, talk about all the things. It's deep. We talk not all the time, not every day, but when we do, it's amazing. And then I have a few other friends. And then I have a friend, Kim, and my girl, Kim, let me tell you, I would think that she was a Virgo sometimes. I think she's a Virgo sometimes. The way her dynamic and mine, we're like the two friends who are very like straightforward. We are very like, you got to face it. Like, look at this shit for what it is. We are very like no nonsense. Like, that's who we are. And if you are our friend, you get that. I mean, yes, we are funny and like we bring this humor side to us, whatever. But at the end of the day, that's who you're going to get. And when we come together, we all have this friend, and I don't care. We all have this friend who, when someone tells you something sweet or something juicy, and they're like, don't tell nobody. But you have that one friend that you're like, I gotta tell this friend. she is my, I gotta tell this friend. Everyone listening to this is like, well, noted. And I was talking to her and she was like, you know what, girl, you should talk about relationships and friendships, because that is something. She's also a social worker. So we're both have our LMSWs. Shout out to all the licensed social workers out there. So we were just talking about, we always talk about, like, you know, not always, but this often comes up, this topic of relationships and friendships and how we evolve in them. And there's so many different kinds of relationships and friendships in your life. And the older you get, you come to realize how fragile friendships can be, how deep, right, they can be, how temporary they can be, how flexible, how all the things they can be. However, sometimes out of all those things they can be, something that's really hard for us to accept is how temporary they can be. And her and I were just like, you know, chit-chatting back and forth, just repeating myself really. But I was talking to her about just where I'm at in my life with my friendships. And again, she knows I'm the type of person that, like, it's not personal when I'm deciding, like, I need space from you, right? It's just not personal to me. To me, I just feel like, you know, if it's serving me in this time of my life, great. If it's not serving me or serving against me, it's not even personal. I'm just going to back away. And I'm not that person that, like, needs, like, the XYZ conversations. I'm just not. Because again, like, I just don't ever think that someone's really out, like, to harm me. Like, no one's out here trying to hurt you intentionally, or, you know. We were talking about that, and we were talking about, like, how hard that can be. And we were also talking about how, like, there's so much loneliness when it comes to our age range and our age group, especially if you're single. Like, if you're single, there can be a lot of, like, just feeling lonely. So then how your friends then are able to fill those buckets at times. So when you create space with someone, you know, it can almost feel like, a lot of people say it's like worse than a breakup, than a romantic breakup. Now, I've been single for a long time, y'all. So when people say that, I'm just like, is it really that hard? Because I forget. In my head, I forget how it feels to be super heartbroken. So I don't know, maybe the friendship breakups are helping me with future romantic breakups. I hope it's not, because my next, I hope, will never be my ex. Okay. So when it comes to breakup, there's, like, really no, like, for me at least, I don't really have, like, a breakup script when it comes to friendship breakups, which means I guess it could be more ambiguous, but I also feel like it's my responsibility to protect my peace. It's my responsibility to protect, you know, and align myself with where I'm going. Now, this doesn't mean that you just, like, shut down doors left and right and let people out left and right. But I do think that it is okay for you to be like, this ain't for me. And it is okay for you to sit back and say, man, like, when we were younger, we really vibed together, but we've evolved into totally different people, and we are no longer on the same place. We're not on the same page. And, you know, this whole concept of, like, no new friends, like, I think that's bullshit. Like, this whole, like, no new friends, like, that whole era. And I think for the most part, a lot of people don't subscribe to that. And if you do, you probably haven't hit an age that you've seen the reason why people should not necessarily subscribe to that. Because new friends are mad fun. New friends are great. New friends are, like, inspiring. New friends are, like, really healthy. New friends are great. They're able to meet you in your new evolved self. So I'm all for new friends. And again, I'm not the kind of person who I need to be best friends with so many people. I have my people. I also go through a lot of moments that, like, I'm a creative person. So I feel like in order for me to be creative and, like, just do my thing, I often feel that I have to, like, be energized, right? And not that people energize me, but my own space energize me. I love, like, podcasts, books, like, going for runs, going for walks. So sometimes I might, like, go ghost on my friends. Like, they know that. I might, like, just not pick up every single call, and that's okay. The same way they might not, because we all have lives. We're adults, you know, that's what we do. For a long time, I felt like there was a sense of shame that I had about not having long-term friendships and not staying super close with all the people that I've met along my journey. And I wanted to talk about this because I think a lot of people feel this way, but don't necessarily talk about it or don't really know how to talk about it because, like I said, there's not really a script for this kind of conversation. But the truth is this, like when you meet someone and years go by, time goes by, situations happen, you're not the same person you were when you met them. You know, like you evolve, you grow, and as you should. And when I think about some of my friendships, like, you know, I grew up in the church. I grew up in a like super Pentecostal church. I grew up super like, you know, one-minded kind of thinking. And as I got older, as I went off to school and, you know, and I had my own ideas and I built my own, you know, beliefs, I no longer subscribe to what my friends in the church did. I just didn't. I'd be like, girl, what the hell are you saying right now? Like, what? You know, I go out and I felt like, you know, so in that case, yeah, like I didn't stay connected to a lot of people that I grew up with or I considered to be best friends at one point. You know, situations like that. I think about friends that I've grown when I'm working somewhere. Like, do you ever, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people, you start working with somebody and because you go every day, we call them like our work best friends. And we tell people at work, like our work best friend, like everything. They become literally closer to us than some of our family members because we see them every day. They know everything we're going through in that moment. And we just like grow this connection, and then you move on and it's like you stay close to them for a little bit, but then like, you know, time kind of goes on, at least for me, you know. And not to say that I'm not close to my like work best friends that were my best friends at the time, but again, that's also aligning itself, like that timeline has also aligned with like where you're at in your life and your beliefs and how you evolve. So anyway, side note, shout out to my girl Mel. She was my girl best friend, my work best friend, when I was a school social worker, and we had a time. A time was had. It was Abbott Elementary School, like all day, every day. So shout out to you, girl. When I think about like just different seasons in my life, I also feel like the older you get, the more like awareness and more discernment you get for your friends and for the people around you. As you're getting older and you're trying to get to know yourself, life brings people to you and you build memories with them, or you build, you know, whatever it is you build with them, you do that. But the more you know, the older you get, you build more of a sense of self. And I know for me, it's like when I hit my 30s, my selection of who I had around me just mattered so much more. It did than when I was in my 20s. Or maybe that it didn't matter more, but I was just more like self-aware. I was more self-aware about who was around me. And I was more like intentional about like the energy I wanted around me, because I knew that I was going somewhere I hadn't been before, or I knew like, you know, I'm headed somewhere that not everyone in this circle or sphere is headed, you know. So I felt like if you were like just like making choices that were just like outrageous, I just was like, listen, I'm sorry. Like, this is like kind of outrageous. And some people wouldn't agree with that. You know, some people say, well, you should be with people throughout their hard times. And I do agree through their hard times, but I don't think you have to subscribe to the idea of like, you need to be someone's like go-to when they're constantly making bad decisions, because at the end of the day, you are the 5 people you hang out with most. And I just don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to the whole like, listen, if you are bringing like this badass energy, like this negative energy towards me, I'm not going to entertain it, because I work too damn hard to be where I'm at in my mental space. And I'm working hard to get to where I'm going. And it just doesn't fit right now. It doesn't mean you can't spin the block. And maybe once you grow out of that, and once we both grow and evolve, we can spin the block and be kumbaya again. But as of right now, this ain't it. And I have a childhood friend who we've experienced that. And for us, we both were in a place that, you know, we were growing separate. We were kind of like, growing apart. And I wouldn't even say if it's growing apart. Again, when you're getting older, people, this is why I don't take things so personal. Like, one of the best things you could do for yourself is not take things personal, because the minute you start taking things personal, the minute you make things about you, first of all, I just don't think First of all, you just can't be a good friend if you're always making things about you. It's just ridiculous. It's just one-sided. There's no reciprocity. And anything that does not have reciprocity is just, it's just not functional. It's stagnant, and it's just one party's going to be upset. So, where was I going with that? I totally forgot where I was going with that. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, take it for what it was. I don't know where I was going with that. But basically, I had a friend, and we just weren't in the same energy or space, or we just weren't doing well. We weren't vibing. And there were things that, taking things personal. Instead of taking things personal, about where she was, where I was, we both kind of just gave each other space. And then we came back around, spin the block, and just like let each other know, like, hey, like, I love you, you love me, like, I want the best for you, whatever, talk about everything that happened, and then you just move forward. And if you decide you want that person in your life, great, but if not, that's fine too. When it comes to friendships, I really consider the ROI, the return on investment, and length of investment, and the depth of investment. Because some people you meet and you may consider them a friend, and you might start seeing characteristics and you're just like, this ain't for me. This ain't for me. It's just not a good vibe. And then some people you meet, and because of the way that you can navigate through hard times, whether it be the person's having a hard time, you're having a hard time, the way you can navigate through that together and the way you come out of that, it almost like builds this like sense of like trust, right? Or I don't know why in my head I'm thinking of like little coins. Like it builds, like every time you get through something, a hump or something, it like builds, like you get a gold coin, in your friendship. But the way I feel is like friendships are people that you choose to have in your life, and I'm not going to have anyone in my life that's like just super hard to have in my life. Like, why would I do that? If you have family members that are like hard to have in your life and you have to go to therapy for them, why choose people and call them friends who are just hard to have in your life? And I hope you're taking this in context, like taking it in the right context, because I don't want you to hear this and think like toss everyone aside. Some friends are built on who we were and not who we're becoming. And this can be a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. It could be hard for some people to accept this, especially when you are so enthralled in your friendships that you're not taking a step back to really assess where you're going. You're not really taking a step back to really assess, this is who I am and who I want to be. And, it's really easy to cut like romantic relationships out. I shouldn't say it's easy. It's hard, but it's kind of clear when you're like dating someone to be like, you're not for me. When it comes to friendships, I think it can be a little bit harder just because, it's a thing where people are like, let's just talk about it. Let's just work it out. Let's talk about it. But the same way that romantic relationships are not compatible, it's okay to view friendships like that too and say like, we're just not compatible. Like, you can be someone that I have a good time with, see you when the group gets together. But like, if you are finding that someone who like, you were tight with throughout all your school years is no longer like that person to you because you met them at one stage in your life and now you've evolved to another, or you're going somewhere else, it's okay to take a step back and be like, this is not serving me. It's really okay. And it comes down to you loving yourself enough to be like, I need to choose me. And I know it sounds so deep and so far-fetched, but when you are like, and if I'm talking to you, I am. And if I'm not, I am. But when I think about like my situation, right, like 30s, single, like I consider a lot of my close friends, like they're your chosen family, I love my family, but close friends are your chosen family, they become a big part of your life. So there was a study with the University of Kansas that mentioned, or they found, I should say, that it takes 200 hours to build a solid friendship. And it only takes a few bad moments, like a few misunderstandings to end the friendship. And they're talking about adult friendships. So we're talking about people that you met as an adult. And I think like at first, I how they say how long it takes to like build a habit, break a habit. And then I'm thinking like, wow, that's so different when it comes to relationships and like building a relationship versus breaking the relationship. And I think for adults, it's very different because when you're an adult, or I should say when you are like, you've done the work, you know, you're growing up, all that good stuff, your communication styles and your way of living is pretty set, right? You kind of built that out. You've grown that. You've molded into that. You got that shit under control, kind of. Or I shouldn't say not everybody, but for the most part, if you are pretty like emotionally intelligent, if you're pretty open, pretty well-rounded, I'd say the way you communicate and the way you view the world, all that good stuff, you're pretty solid in who you are. So I can see how it could take so much time to build something, and then something, you know, something like communication or misunderstandings can come in the way. And I think again, it's like some of that like compatibility. This is a whole lot. Like I think while I'm talking, I just envision like this big spider web that I'm just like jumping from place to place. I'm not sure if this is all making sense. But I'm hoping it resonates with some people, just because I think a lot of people are going through, I feel like every time I'm talking to one of my girlfriends, there's always someone that they have in mind that they're just like, man, I was so close to this person and now I'm not. And it's so hard because it's hard for me to talk to them about it. It's hard for me to like break up with them because it's like I don't even know where to start. And if I do break up with them, it's like, how do I navigate that when this is a person that I talk to often about my day, or I just talked to this person, or we just went out whenever we felt like, hey, you ain't got nothing to do, I got nothing to do. And a lot of times we keep people around because of that. We keep people around because we're comfortable. There's this quote my one friend always mentions it to me when we're talking about like romantic relationships. El costumbre es más fuerte que el amor. And what that means is just being comfortable. Comfort is stronger than love. You know, just being comfortable, having that person that you can call when you are just bored. You know, having that girlfriend you can say, hey, come with me to the mall when you don't feel like being by yourself and going alone. And the problem with that is that one, like, obviously you're using that person, right? You're using that person so you don't have to be alone. You're also like just settling. And it's not saying like you're settling for this friend so you can be with another friend, but it's like you're settling in the sense that you are welcoming energy and like you're welcoming in, you know, mentality and like the view of the world that you necessarily don't subscribe to, but you just don't want to be lonely. So you rather be with someone that you don't care for, or that you're not on the same page with, or that you're arguing with, or you're annoyed with, rather than just being in solitude. And it's crazy because solitude is actually one of the best places you can be while you're evolving, while you're growing, while you are like transitioning. If you're going from school to like, you know, work, if you're going from relationship to no relationship, like solitude is just so beautiful. That's where the growth happens. And we're settling and not growing just to be comfortable. I think sometimes when we often think to ourselves, like, okay, I need to cut this person off because it's not good for me, we also often think like, what about all those times? What did they mean? Did they mean anything? All those special moments we held. You know, it's literally like a romantic relationship. This is crazy. Is it crazy though? Is it? Or romantic relationships crazy? You know, but we're often like reflect on those things. And I think giving yourself permission to grieve a relationship is okay. It's okay to say like, man, that relationship served me for a season of my life, but it can't go where I'm going. You know, it's like, I don't know if you saw the movie Inside Out 2. You guys, I'm a therapist for kids. So I just love Disney movies because they help kids get the concept. When I think about letting go of a friendship, I think about in the movie Inside Out where where Joy has to get back to Riley's head, and she's with the imaginary friend that Riley once had, the girl in the movie. It's about kids and feelings. And if you watched it, Joy and the little elephant, imaginary elephant, they had to both get up to the top of the whatever. The elephant did not have room to go. And the elephant let go of Joy, and so she can go on her own gracefully, right? Joy was sad, and she just like looked down like, oh my God, like, you know, you've been here for so long for Riley. I don't want to let you go. You're a part of Riley. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Sometimes the grieving of a friend, we need to give ourselves permission to grieve a friend and it not be toxic. Like, it could be okay that you're no longer friends with somebody and they're not a horrible person. You know, it's also okay to recognize like you can let go of somebody and that person was really a part of me at one time. And you can be grateful for that. You can make space for that. You can, in your own time, whether you're journaling about it or you're just like driving and thinking about it or washing dishes, not me. Okay, we're going to use a dishwasher because my gel, it comes off way too easy. Sorry, Olive and June. Come on, help a girl out. Make space to say, man, thank you, God. Like, that was a great friendship I had for this season. It's not going where I'm going. I'm just grateful for that. And it did bring a lot of joy. It did bring a lot of excitement for some time. It did bring a lot of laughter. And that's okay too. I know I mentioned this lightly. I really want to lean into the idea of allowing space to redefine friendships without shame. Because shame is the first place everyone goes to, I feel like. Like, so many people go to whenever people are not friends anymore or there's space between them. And I don't think it should be like that, because if you are a growing, evolving person, it just doesn't make sense that you have all the same people around you for years. Yeah, every now and then we have those awesome unicorns that could stick with us because they are growing and evolving as well. And it just so happens that God allow them to grow and evolve with us, right? Some people grow and evolve the other way. But so I think about like my friend Carrie. I have an awesome unicorn that like she's in my life. She's been in my life for years because we have luckily been able to evolve and grow together. Just because you're not friends with someone doesn't mean it has to be toxic, like I mentioned, but you can redefine friendships. You can go from saying, hey, this is like someone I was super close to, but now we just see each other like, and hi, bye, how are you, catch up once in a blue. And that's okay. That's really okay. Like, let yourself be okay with that. Don't add on the shame. And also, like, look at me, I'm talking about like friends, we all have that friend who can even gossip with. But also, when all the world wants to know what's going on with you and so, you don't have to tell everybody. You don't have to freaking tell everybody. Protect your peace. Stop reliving it. And I'm telling you that because same here, okay? And I know sometimes when people break up with friendships, there might be a time that it's like hard because maybe it was ugly. Maybe some kind of event happened. But you can give yourself space to move on from that and allow yourself to redefine, and even like the narrative around that. Allow yourself to reframe and redefine what that all looks like. Because you shouldn't, it's going to help you heal from the friendship, but it's also going to help you move forward and create new space for new friendships. Because what you don't want to happen is that you're so bitter to make new friendships. Like, that's kind of wild to me. Like, if you are looking to grow and evolve your heart, like, do what you have to do to keep your heart soft and open. Okay? Because we're not saying no new friends over here. No, we're not saying that. Not all friends, not all people come to be here forever. Some people are lessons. Some people are blessings. Some people are this. Some people are that. Just take it for what it is. Be grateful for what it gave you and keep it moving. Okay. We're going to wrap it up right there. We're going to leave it right there. Hopefully you got something from it. Hopefully something stuck. Something feels good. And you just came with me as I talked about all the webs and all the different subjects, and I just bounced off. Okay. This is what I want you to do. I want you to reflect on your friendships, reflect on your circle, reflect on the people around you. If you are evolving, it's okay for friendships to shift too. Okay. Actually, if you are evolving, friendships and relationships around you should be shifting too. Okay. It's a sign that you're growing. It's a sign that you're moving. It's a sign that you're not stagnant. So be encouraged. Okay. Gentle homework for you this week. I want you to write a letter that you'll never send to a friend that you may have drifted away from. And maybe there's some things that you want to share left unsaid. Maybe there's some things that are still on your heart, or maybe there are just some things that are in your mind. And in order for you to continue moving forward, maybe you need to let that out. Again, a letter that you're not going to send. Okay? Because some things we don't have to reopen. Because just because we're in a place of healing, or we're in a place of like being okay with things, it doesn't mean the other party is. And I strongly believe we should not go interrupt someone else's peace because we are not at peace. All right? That's not what we're doing. So write the letter that you will never send to a friend that you drifted from. If you felt like this resonated with you to any capacity, please send me a DM on Instagram. Please write me a message. I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, I have a new segment coming, 4th episode, called The Best Mess, where you are able to share and give feedback on anything in your life, and we're going to talk about it here. You can find that on Instagram. And we're going to also dig into some of that. Again, share this with someone you think will benefit from it. Share this with someone who you know may be going through some friendship things. Maybe you can share in your friendship group chat. Like, weren't we just talking about this, ladies? Don't be messy, y'all. But this is a big one, especially for women. You know, I think for men too, actually. But women, we just are just so chatty with each other. And I think, you know, we go deep, and we go deep fast, and we come back up really fast too. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining me on this episode, and I can't wait to see you on the next. Also, before we are done with this, I gotta say, go Birds. Tomorrow's draft day. Cannot wait for this football season to start. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys soon.